What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wicked Crazy Pinfalls. He's got your boy Throwback here with the man himself, Aaron New World Owner, Aaron Entertainment, aka the biggest Blue Jays fan in the world. What's up, bud? How you doing?
I'm doing quite well. How are you?
Uh, I'm tired, to be honest. I've been busting my ass. Um, I was gonna pull this up, but I don't know if it works. So they do this thing at work called the Manager of the Month, and my crew literally busted their tails to do this. Now everybody's like, well, that's not a big deal. Well, to me it is. It's, I work hard for this and stuff like that. Let me preview it. I'll download the hell of it. If I can zoom in on it, it's blurry as hell though. But I worked my tail off with my crew and stuff like that. Hey Tim, if you want to pop in, you can. And they have a new feature on here, extra camera. Let me show this. It's gonna be blurry, but I did this. Where are you? Here we go. It's a little blurry, but you can tell who that is. But those are my bosses right there, and the guys in my shop worked their tails off for this, and rightfully so. So I'm very proud of that. I mean, it's a minor, one of those things that's very minor achievement kind of things. But for me, it's like, these guys work their tail off. They deserve it, kind of idea. Let me put it on here. Post. And share. I'm doing a group share kind of thing, kind of going crazy on this stuff. Wrestling World. So we're gonna go back because weren't on last week, so we're gonna go back to a lot of stuff from last week with the Rumble and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the Rumble overall?
Well, I thought the Rumble was okay overall. I think the Men's Royal Rumble was a terrible Rumble. I think that was one of the worst Men's Royal Rumble ever. I don't know. It probably could have been worse, but that was not a very. It was not a very good one. I think it was obvious Lesnar was going to win, but it's still the final four. I think Bad Bunny being the final four was a joke. And him doing all those moves was a joke. Shane was in the final four. I mean, I think it was the wrong people in the final four. I mean, I didn't mind Drew McIntyre staying in the final four or the final two. I thought that was fine with him and Brock, even though Brock won. But the Men's Royal Rumble was not good overall. There was nothing special about it. The Women's Royal Rumble was actually quite fun in my view, in my opinion. It's good to see some of the older wrestlers come back. Lita, the Bellas, Michelle McCool, Ivory. Once we heard that once I heard Wanda Rousey was in the building, I knew like she was going to win the Rumble. I mean, that was not surprising at all. But that was actually a pretty good Rumble, like with the women's. The matches overall, the opening match was solid. I liked Rollins versus Reigns. I love how Rollins was taunting Reigns the whole match using the Shield stuff. The throwback to the Shield stuff. No pun intended with their name, but the throwback to the Shield stuff. And the ending was stupid, but I guess I understand. The ending was stupid. What other matches are the Edge and Miz stuff? I didn't care for that. The Becky and Piper, not Piper Niven, Doudrop match. It was a good match. I know it was.
We're gonna call it Piper Niven, dude. Come on, man.
Piper Niven. Okay, that was a solid match. I loved her manhandle slam off the top rope. I know a lot of people didn't get to see it because of the WrestleMania sign being on fire. What else match was there? What other match was there? Lashley and Lesnar. I thought it was a pretty decent match. Heyman's turn. I think we all saw that coming. I think that was the thing is, it was an overall good paper, but there was nothing shocking. What we saw happened.
What are you, like in a freaking a tube or something?
Yeah, where are you? Seriously.
I'm in a new place, guys, for right now, temporary.
You can tell about us in a little bit, but why don't we keep going and talking about the Rumble? You were talking about how the matches were, Aaron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm pretty much done with that to say about that.
Well, for me, it was more so like the men's Rumble was kind of like very, very disappointing. If you
Yeah,
have Shane in there and the way he eliminated Owens and stuff, and then you have like Bad Bunny in there and Knoxville, it's like, okay, this is kind of a disappointing thing. But the women's one, you start out with Melina as number 2 and having Sasha as number 1. I thought Sasha was going to go a lot further than she did. Now, for me, the women's
I think it's
Royal
because of her
Rumble,
injury.
yeah, it doesn't matter. But I think the women's Royal Rumble was the best Royal Rumble that WWE could produce in a while. So, like, when Reigns was in there, you knew Reigns was going to win. When you knew
Yeah.
Brock was going to be in it, you already knew who was going to win. Yeah, we already knew the outcome of who was coming out between when Ronda was going to be in it. Anyways, I mean, she was in around, and WWE was actually later in the
Yeah.
week there were news stories that she was going to be there. So I mean, for me, you already knew the outcomes and stuff. And then once Lashley won, you already knew Brock was going to be in there. And if Roman lost, it would have been Roman in that spot. But
Exactly.
it was a lot more exciting seeing people that coming out. Like you had Victoria as like, the person that she used to be when they were talking about censorship, the censorship version of that.
That's Ivory. That's Ivory.
Yeah.
Victoria wasn't there, but
yeah, well, you guys know what I mean. Then you had like
Lita
part of it.
Ripley. Yeah, Lita.
But the problem with that is that pan shot, if you realize that the pan shot during that Rumble where they had Charlotte and Leah standing in front of each other and the camera guy had it panned up to the sign, they were kind of hinting at the fact that they wanted that as their Mania match. They wanted like Charlotte versus Lita, but the problem is that Ronda was in there and Ronda had the last say. And now we get Becky and Lita at Elimination Chamber, which we'll get to that too, because that's coming this Saturday. Coming up soon, real soon. I think it's the 15th.
Next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday. Week and a half.
Oh yeah, that's right. Vengeance Day's on the 15th. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and the next Tuesday is the Vengeance Day, yes.
But for me, it's just interesting the fact that they pulled this whole trigger on it, and now you have like at the Elimination Chamber, Lita versus, Becky, and then you have whoever wins it. Now, I'm going to say this much, and I'll go on the limb on this prediction because, well, we do little crazy stuff all the time. I think that mystery person in the chamber, I think the Becky and Lita match is going to be in Saudi Arabia. That's going to happen is going to be one of the first matches of the night. Because the women's elimination chamber, they're going to have Lita as that surprise entry, and then you have Becky's opponent for Mania, which is going to be Lita again. So I mean, that's how they do these things sometimes.
I think it's going to be Bianca Belair.
Bianca's already in it, but
I think Bianca's going to win. I think it's going to be Bianca and Becky at WrestleMania.
I would like to see Alexa and Becky just because that's something different. And the way it might be is head that way. Now, another way they could do it is have Bayley show up then and have Bayley win it and go against Becky. But
not a bad idea.
But I preferably like to see something brand new compared to what everything is. Now, the way the Roman Reigns match ended with Seth and Seth's mind games was just like amazing. Coming out with the Shield gear and stuff like that was, just insane. It was actually probably one of the best things they could do with the way Seth is. Like they portrayed him as
the so over when he did that. He was so over with the crowd. Like
they portrayed him as as Roman as Batman and Seth as the Joker with the way.
And the thing is, in wrestling, if you're portrayed as a Batman, you're not going to be liked. But if you're portrayed as Joker, you're going to be liked by the crowd.
And the thing for me is that, and I said this in the watch along for Fightful, it's like their past ghosts are having bouts with their present selves. to go against to the future. So it's like the whole saying, whoever is doomed to the past is doomed to repeat it. Who doesn't pay attention to history. And now it's like a culmination of, Seth comes back out of the gate and just goes after Roman to point out, hey, you have to remember your past. You're just looking ahead all the time. And I think this is where it's going to get interesting, because you have Goldberg at the Elimination Chamber. I wouldn't be shocked, because they might be a pay-per-view in March before Mania, because Mania is in April. That they literally will put the belt on Goldberg to take it off a few days later. They've done it
they've done it before.
They've done it before with Kane, so I wouldn't be shocked if they do that again. But
it was supposed to be the WrestleMania match.
Yeah, we were supposed to have that in the Performance Center until everything happened with the whole COVID stuff. But I wouldn't be shocked if they pull that trigger, because they tend to do it in Saudi Arabia. They tend to pull these matches where Goldberg is like the champion and coming out of it. So the idea would be is that if Brock won the WWE Championship and you switch the titles over, I wouldn't be surprised if they move the Universal title back over to Raw and they put the WWE Championship on SmackDown, and then Roman wins that title and just goes for the run again like he did. And there's so much you could do with it. I mean,
I just see a problem. Like, if they're gonna do if they're gonna do, like, say for example, maybe title for title at WrestleMania, and have Brock win the title Elimination Chamber, then do the title at WrestleMania. What's the point of having him lose to Bobby Lashley?
What's the point of having the brand split? The brand split, you would just nullify the brand split right there on the one stop.
Exactly. Well, they could do like Becky Lynch did like 2 years ago. Remember 2 years ago when she had the both belts at WrestleMania?
She was going back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, they could do that with Roman Reigns, I guess.
But for me, it's just, it doesn't make sense. Now, the match that I think that's going to come out of Chamber that everybody's going to be excited for and overlook these title matches, I think AJ is going to win the U.S. title, and I think Edge is going to go after the U.S. title to face AJ. It doesn't have to be for the title, but I wouldn't be shocked if they do that, because I think it's time to get the title off Priest. Now, I don't watch Raw. I watched some of the highlights. I can get the gist of how Priest is right now. They ruined that. So, I mean,
they cooled down on him. They cooled down on him.
So, I mean, it's time to do something different, and AJ can be in. And I've said this before. I think AJ's in that point where he is in the Mark Calloway situation, and everybody's like looking at me like, retire? No.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Taker usually would bring up younger talent up and raise them up and put them over, and then have another match with them and just fight as even hail. I think with the whole thing with Jeff Hardy, he saw a lot with Jeff. Just Jeff was getting around himself at the time. And literally, when he gave that match with Jeff and put Jeff over, he knew Jeff could handle it at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
I think AJ is in that spot. I think that's why he wanted to go down to NXT, and I think that's the best thing he could do. And we'll talk about NXT in a second, because all this stuff is going to tie into the Elimination Chamber some way, shape, or form. I honestly believe that AJ is not done with NXT. I'm probably in the minority in that. But if everything's going to be the way it is, it's the same thing with Ziggler going to NXT now. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the women's matches, people are more paying attention to the sign being burnt down than anything.
It's actually a pretty good match too. They got overshadowed by that.
It's just the pay-per-view in a whole was okay. It wasn't like their like usual, like they could knock it out of the park kind of pay-per-views they do sometimes. But I mean, a lot of that stuff changed, and it was just, on the fly. And this makes sense, having Brock and Ronda as the winners, but it's one of those break glass kind of things. Now you have two center stage, all these people who are highly famous, Brock in his own right, Ronda in her own right. And now you have eyes literally at both nights' main event pay-per-views. And just, knock it out. I won't be surprised if they put both belts on Ronda eventually.
If USA Network wants her on Raw,
I think that's probably they're going to give Ronda the opportunity to get both
I
belts
tell you
to
one thing:
represent both of them.
if that's the case, it wouldn't be Becky would not be holding the Raw title when if that happens. Becky, somebody else would be holding the Raw Women's title.
I think Alexa would be the one that they would do that with.
Well, they could do something fun with Alexa and Wanda.
Or Bianca. That I know that would be Barry and Bianca, but still.
I think you know how Shayna and Wanda are friends? I think Shayna's gonna turn on Wanda Rousey.
I honestly think that at SummerSlam we will get Ronda versus Shayna at
because
they're gonna take that title off Charlotte. So I think they're gonna end up putting Ronda and Baszler in a match at SummerSlam.
Agreed.
Sorry with me for rambling, but the Diecast Collective, man, what do you think of all this?
Wow. Can y'all hear me just fine?
Yeah, we can hear you.
This is what happens when I have an NXT post show that I'm a part of. By the way, go check that out on BodySlims.net's YouTube page, and they're also their Twitch. I'm gonna end up trying to talk about getting some of those games going on that whole thing, and see if we can get some games going on there, getting people on. Hell, I'd be down for Uno night.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on everything with the Rumble and going into the Chamber?
Wow. That's all I gotta say. Wow. No, I bought a brand new pair of headphones the other day for under $25. The ones I used to have, y'all, I don't have them anymore.
Well,
I got
you didn't
kicked
answer
out
the
of my
question.
old place.
Well, you didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question.
I just said, wow.
Yeah, but
I just said, wow.
That could be misinterpreted, right? But hey, Tim, come on, man. We're literally having fun. We always rock and roll like we always do. But I'm just saying, like, what are your thoughts on the Rumble itself and the matches?
Wow. Wow.
He's being sarcastic.
Just wow.
There, that's his answer.
That's my answer. Wow.
Jaw drop. Next thing you know, he goes off about Goldberg for 20 minutes. I'm down for that.
Don't even get me started on him.
Where's the Anakin when you need
Don't get me started on him. No, because I'm not doing it now.
If you guys are watching, go ahead, comment. I was gonna say, sorry, Tim. I was gonna say, if you guys are watching, hit up the chat, ask comments, questions, and concerns. We actually are here
DJMC, where are you?
Fun. So, I mean, what are your expectations coming out of the Rumble, though?
Don't know yet.
You don't know?
I don't know yet.
Wow.
No, I'm not gonna be able to watch it. The only thing I can say is expect the unexpected.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, because to be honest with you, I'm trying to be professional because if you've noticed, my name has been changed.
Yeah, you're not the heel anymore.
Nope. I dropped it.
But but the thing about it is, Tim,
this is all new me now.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that do you think Rousey and that happens with his internet sometimes?
Have to be professional.
You don't have to be professional. You know, it's just us.
We're never professional here.
Yeah, we never are. Yeah, very soon. You know, I'm going to have a huge announcement, life-changing announcement soon. So, but it's just interesting to see how their break glass kind of idea. They have Goldberg out, they have Rock out now, and they have freaking Ronda in there. Who do you see with Goldberg still part of this, right? And I know Tim's ready to go.
There's more match left.
I think they were trying to re-sign him to more matches.
Probably.
Who do you see as Goldberg's opponent at Mania, though?
I don't see Mania. I don't see anybody now. I think I don't know. I'll take a guess. He could go on any brand, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see anybody. Roman would be if it wasn't for Roman and Brock, I would pick Roman, but for me,
I won't be
they're doing
shocked
it.
that I'll throw this name out there. The 16-time champion comes back because Cena says
Cena?
if they asked him to come back, he would do something, and him and Goldberg could have a short match, and that would be something different. I mean, that would put another feather in
Yeah.
Cena's cap. Also, another name you could throw out possibly if he doesn't feed Edge is have AJ go at it and stuff like that. I mean, if they didn't release Keith Lee, that would have been perfect match for Goldberg because of how physical they both can go. But I still think, there's more meat on that bone with Lashley. But I think you don't need the title with Lashley, though.
Well, they did that with the last match in Saudi Arabia. They took the title off Lashley. Remember before that, and then they continued with the Goldberg stuff. Yeah. For Goldberg, you don't need a title anymore. I agree with SRS Sean on stuff with Goldberg. You don't need to put the title and involve in the matches with Goldberg.
No, that's why I said I don't think if they do something with the U.S. title for Mania and you have Goldberg in it, I don't think it matters if Goldberg winning that belt because he's already won it. I just think it's for him to get somebody else over and stuff. I think he's at that point too. Go ahead, Tim. You're ready like a tea kettle. You want to pop off?
Nope, I'm not even going to comment.
He's restraining himself. Come
on, dude. You can say whatever you want.
I said you're restraining yourself. You're restraining yourself because
I'm being professional right now.
When are we professional in this?
Because I changed everything over my name to the Diecast Collective. I had to be professional now.
Yeah, I'm still throwback, but really, do you think we're ever like this? We're still like
but you got to understand something. I have. Y'all know I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know. Go check that out. It's awesome stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to be professional as much as I can right now.
Okay.
But I do want to say this, y'all. There's two things I'm going to say. First of all, I want to thank everybody. Yesterday was my 18th anniversary of me being clean from drinking and alcohol. Doing the alcohol and drugs.
Nice.
Next thing to know, some of y'all probably didn't know, I am getting ready to be moving soon. I'm not going to be in Virginia, and I'm not going to be in Virginia Beach no more. I'm moving out. I'm moving to St. Louis. So my time here in Virginia is getting slim, and I don't like it because I had some things happen to me here, and I'm not going to go into details. I will message y'all in the DMs about that. Some of y'all already knew, and it's just time for me to move on, better myself, make a better chapter in my life.
I don't blame you, man. Everybody's changing. Got to start positive. I started a thread today because I was watching the feeds on Twitter, and I'm like, wow, so much negativity. Holy crap.
Well, you know what the old saying goes, right? You can take that negativity, channel it, and turn it into a positive. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me for 18 years. No one didn't think I could do it in 18 years.
Well, why don't we keep going and talk about this stuff? And
then I have to go because I got to do dishes.
All right.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and drop y'all some information. Number one, y'all can follow me on Twitter, Tim Traver at the Diecast Collective. That's my name. So it's on Facebook and Instagram, and also y'all can check me out on YouTube. It's the same thing. I wanted to thank you, Throwback, for letting me come on tonight. It's just a little quick run-in I'm going to do.
To quote a
To
famous
what?
line, from a famous movie, and hopefully I don't get monetized. It's your home. Answer me. Get the hell in that home. It's your home. Yeah, hopefully I don't
Yeah,
get monetized for that. I'll take that hit for that.
No,
yeah.
you won't. You won't.
But
Because you didn't show a clip. You
I'm
just said.
thanking y'all for bringing.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
But
like I
this
said,
is
guys, I appreciate y'all letting me jump on, and so I gotta go do dishes, and I'll try to watch the show if I'm not able to. I'll check it out tomorrow on the replay. But anyway, guys, peace out.
Later, man.
lit.
Take care.
Alrighty then.
Yeah,
I always loved Tim. Tim is a good guy.
yes.
Hey, so the thing about it is that we go into Elimination Chamber coming up in about a week, a little over a
Yeah.
week.
Pretty much
But
9 days.
let's get it. But I want to get into the NXT stuff because there was a lot of good stuff. What are your thoughts on Windy Chu?
Well, Karen Q is actually pretty good in the ring. I know that's her name from Ring of Honor. I'm okay with it. I'm not like one of those people who are like, oh, she's so awesome. Kind of like, you know what? Her kind of character has to grow on me, kind of like Orange Cassidy. Like I think that's a best comparison to her, like Orange Cassidy, because Orange Cassidy is kind of like that, if you know what I mean. Like Orange Cassidy seems like he's not interested, but then when you see him get interested and you get him pissed off, he's good in the ring. And that actually kind of grew on me because he actually could wrestle. And Minnie Chu, from when she gets involved, she could wrestle. So I'm taking my time with her. Like, I'll tell you
I
one
mean,
thing. I'll tell you one thing. The woman she wrestled yesterday, Tiffany Stratton, she has talent.
yeah, and that finisher, literally
Yeah,
the corkscrew, springboard corkscrew it into the
whatever it
crust,
was. Yeah,
literally was just really good. I think, and I won't be surprised, is Windy Chu becoming NXT Women's Champion within the next year. That whole thing she does is so over. Doing an elbow drop and
yeah,
pretending she's asleep. Um,
yes,
I even said it on the NXT post show
yeah.
and go check it out.
I call it the sleep drop when she goes like this.
Yeah, I literally said this, that I wouldn't be shocked one of these times that she puts the GTS on there and calls it pillow talk. Like
Oh,
commentary turns around and says she goes to go to sleep and it calls it the pillow talk because once they're out, they land, and then she just throws the pillow underneath them and lets them fall asleep into the pin.
one of her first matches, she did like a suplex to cliff, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Like people know people know she could do wrestle, go in the ring as her from the Ring of Honor days.
I just want to see what's next because all
Yeah.
these skits she does are awesome. Like the whole thing with all the bags after taking Tiffany's credit card.
Yes.
Just the whole her sitting top of a locker saying he likes you, and just
Yeah.
literally just those little things that they do. I have a feeling that they're going to pair her and Dakota up for the Dusty Cup for right now. It seems like they're hinting at, and that the Dusty Cup, the men's Dusty Cup. Oh my God, that final is going to be a banger.
The Creed brothers.
Creed and MSK. I literally think MSK is going to win it, but I think the Creed brothers, it's going to be one of those matches where the Creed brothers come out a lot stronger than people think. I think that it's going to be one of those situations where MSK wins, but the Creed brothers win, and everybody's going to be like, well, what is that supposed to mean? It means that if the NXT does this whole build right, you could have the Creed brothers get a shot at Imperium at Stand and Deliver, and then MSK could have a match on NXT and against them. But I think it's going to end up where Imperium's going to be still down there. They'll lose the belts, but the Creed brothers will take the belts and MSK will end up on the main roster. I am so happy to say this, though, but I said this on Tuesday, that for the first time, I think WWE has a strong tag division, and it's not on the main roster, which it should stay off the main roster. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yes, I do agree. it does have strong tag team roster. MSK, the Imperium, the Grizzled Young Veterans, Creed brothers. Who else? Those two guys from El Fantasma, El Delgado Fantasma. There's two guys who had that skit about with the Mandy Rose thing when Mandy Rose was being chased by Kaylee Ray. You remember that last week?
Yeah.
They got, yeah.
But I think for me, it's going to be one of those things where you go into Vengeance Day and you expect certain things to happen. Like, I think they're going to run back Kaylee Ray and Mandy at some point, but because Io and Kaylee are going to go after the Dusty Cup, I think that makes sense. But you basically just showed off your hand like they did a few years ago with, having Ciampa and Thatcher as part of a tag team, and everybody saying if they get in the Dusty Cup, you just showed your hand. I think this year they officially did. I think the women's Dusty Cup is going to be Io and Kaylee, and I think it's going to go against Toxic Attraction. Now, what stinks is that you have Kaden and Catanzaro, Casey and Kaden just sitting around doing backstage, appearances, skits and stuff, but they should have won the Dusty Cup at least once, and that's how talented they are. But that means they're probably going to end up being brought up to the main roster at some point, and I just hope they do right by these guys because they're really talented. But I'm not the one who makes the calls.
Near my, I should be. We should be.
Do you think LA Knight gets arrested next week?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think that if they pull that whole stunt next week, it shows that it's kind of a lack of consideration, because you're having LA Knight like relive all these skits. Now, the franchise Bad Bloods even said this and is 100% correct on this, and he said that any restraining order has to be agreed upon by both parties. How the hell did Grayson Waller beat the crap out of LA Knight after LA won and literally did not get arrested, and he's like, "Oh, you broke the freaking whole thing, you're getting arrested"? In some institutions, that's not even right.
Where a restraining order has to be agreed by both parties. I don't think that's how it works, because if it has to be agreed by both parties, the person you're getting a restraining order against will not agree to it.
Yeah, but a lot of times in some places they have to both. The person who's getting the restraining order has to agree to the constrictions to it. They work in the same building. That's literally, that's not 500 feet, man.
You can't be 90 feet from each other. It's wrestling. I mean, it's wrestling logic 101. It doesn't make sense.
But the thing about also is that what doesn't make sense about it is this is the same storylines they've done in WWE in the past and over again. They did. The only one that made any sense was Austin and Vince in the Attitude Era when Vince put a restraining order on. But other than that, everything else does not make any sense.
So is it a restraining order when it comes to actual work? It's not. It doesn't go into effect. But for outside, if they're wrestling, if they're in at the match or during the match, they're allowed to be near each other, during where the stage area is. But once that's all, say they're in a performance center working out or in a catering, stuff like that, they're not allowed to be each other. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Maybe it's something like that.
Then basically that match with Kaylee Ray, I mean, it was a really good match, but the ending kind of sucked. You already knew as soon as that whole backstage segment came in where they were getting thrown out, supposedly, you knew Mandy.
It made Kaylee Ray look dumb because she knocked down when Gigi came in, she knocked Gigi off the ropes, right? And then she goes on the top turnbuckle, But she didn't suspect JC anywhere. Like I would suspect JC, make sure JC doesn't come in because they came from through the crowd, right? So it made Kaylee Ray look really dumb, and Kaylee Ray has been a veteran for like almost 15 years, and I didn't like that ending. I mean,
The ending kind of,
if you want Kaylee Ray to lose, okay, but don't make her look dumb.
it didn't make any sense though. It's just like, where's the narrative? Where are you pushing the next part of the story? You didn't give,
Yeah,
Mandy an opponent for her next opponent. You just pushed on the Dusty Cup narrative where you have Io and Kaylee now being a part of it. It, especially since they're kicking off next week? No, the week after, the end of the month, for after Vengeance Day, for the NXT for the women's side. I really think they need to step this up. I think that the men's set the tone for this, and we're gonna get a knockout, drag out tag match. But I pray that they live up it. They have the women's elevated to it. The match that I won't be shocked they throw this together real quick, and don't be shocked if he shows up on Tuesday. Is Tommaso Ciampa showing up on well, not Tuesday, on SmackDown on Friday, tomorrow, with Ziggler walking around and stuff. I won't be shocked that they set that up for Vengeance Day as like a quick setup,
yeah,
because that's the way they were leaning towards. And then Breaker versus Ziggler might end up being your Mania match, because
it's possible.
you might have Breaker do double duty, and I wouldn't be shocked if he's like, "Oh, I'm down
Or it
for
could,
it. I will face both of you."
or it could be a stop and deliver match.
It might be stand and deliver for
Or
him and
stand and deliver.
Tommaso,
I said
but
stop and deliver.
I think that Mania, they need matches for Mania. Ziggler is the likely person to be night 2 in Mania, because you could have Tommaso and Breaker night 1 and stand and deliver, which would probably be a Tuesday, and then the Wednesday would be the other half of it. So
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be shocked about them doing that and just having something like that. Hell, they could even do a Thursday, Friday match, but the problem is you got NXT, you have, SmackDown too.
Yeah, they
I
wouldn't do
would,
it on Friday. It's
yeah,
SmackDown.
I really think that for the first time that they're going to end up having the NXT champion pull double duty and during a whole week. Makes sense. If you're doing Tuesday and Wednesday for stand and deliver, if you're doing it a 2-night thing, I wouldn't be shocked if they put Breaker versus Ziggler as an NXT match going into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make perfect sense, because then you have more exposure to the casual fan, which they have a really hard time with, and you would have more eyes on it. I think in this year will probably be the year that more NXT products from the main roster are going to be coming down. So like Ziggler is going to come down. I won't be shocked if you see somebody that like Ricochet comes back into NXT for a little bit, so, saying he never got a shot at the NXT title, and he goes against, let's say Carmelo at that time. I mean, there's so much untapped potential they can use for all those teams and stuff. I'm really just hoping they do right by Breaker and, Ziggler. There were ideas of maybe Bobby Roode coming down with him and going after the NXT tag titles against Imperium, just to, give them a little bit more higher end push. But you have Walter in that faction, so
Yeah, that's the wild card of that group. Is it Walter? I mean, like, I mean, you're gonna need somebody for Walter. Like Walter's like, I mean, like, I know he's not a title picture now, but he could be easy to top heel in NXT. He's he's a Roman Reigns. He's like the Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar level type of guy, you know?
yeah. And the thing about it is that he's like one of those people that's their untouchables. I mean,
Yeah.
hold on. I won't be shocked if they do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be shocked if they do something where they pull Walter into a situation with Breaker. I mean, and they pull
Yeah.
a whole like Kaylee Ray kind of aspect to it. I mean, anything could be possible nowadays with everything they do.
Mm.
I mean, for me, which you should check out the NXT post show sponsored by bodyslam.net on their YouTube channel, and I'll be on that show. I got to keep doing it. If you go over there, I'm trying to get comfortable, go check out that Slamtastic, Slam chat off of there and support the site and help everybody out. Yes, I am putting over something that I'm a part of. So, like they allow me to put over what we do here, which I really appreciate for them to let me be a part of it. I think it's important to see what's going to happen, but we also don't know if they're going to pull the trigger and take the belt off of Breaker and put him on Ziggler. That's the unknown entity on this.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I think he's there to put him over.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
little more and stuff. I think Tommaso is the workhorse, kind of like Ziggler aspect of it,
Yeah.
and I think Dakota. I think Dakota is in that spot where she is Natty's spot on the main roster. I think she's the one to push
I
new
agree.
talent over and stuff like that. And a lot of people think it's Io. I don't think Io is, because I think Io is the one that is made to go a lot further than she is. I think she's supposed to be in the championship.
Io and Dakota are kind of they're really ready for the main roster right now. Like I know Io is probably back in the women's title picture, but Dakota, what she's doing, she's just there to be like she's everywhere, like dealing with other women. She's just there in the backstage segments, and she had that thing with Saray, and she's other segments. I think it's time for Dakota to be caught up.
I think so too, but I think it's better off. For them to keep them away from the main roster. I think NXT needs their own version of the two. And I think as much as Tommaso's even stated in interviews he does not want to go up to the main roster, I think him being the workhorse for NXT to put people up, to brace them up, is the right move. I think they were angling that with Johnny, but Johnny didn't want that.
And Kyle O'Reilly with Wagner.
Yeah, so I think, Tommaso not wanting to go traveling and stuff like that and being close to his kid and his wife and stuff, it makes more sense. You can't fault the guy wanting to be near home. So, and I think Dakota is in that point where she wants to be the NXT champion. She wants a major title championship. So that's where I think, AEW is doing in the right spot. They don't have a women's tag, but they have a secondary title. Well, it's not a secondary title. The TVS title is not secondary. It's a really good title. It's just, I think they have the right. Yeah, I think they have the right idea having another title belt for the women to go after. It's time to let Dakota have that belt. And right now, they have it on Mandy because of they made the name. It's basically like a Canon engineer filter. You buy it for the name, not for the function. So for her, it's just people recognize her name and all the posters and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's about her look.
It's about her look. And it's just it's just for me, like everybody's like, well, Mandy, it's her on the TV. I'd rather see someone else in that spot than her. I know
I think the problem with Mandy is like, well, look, she's doing well for herself in NXT. They really did her character, but the problem is when she gets back to the main roster, how is she gonna be perceived? Is she gonna be perceived as that wrestler, or are you gonna be perceived as you or somebody on the main roster are gonna tell her you had to go all the way back to NXT to be relevant. You can easily bury her. I mean, you can bury her in NXT because of that. And the thing is with Mandy, I personally think of all the women's wrestlers who had the NXT women's title, she's probably the worst in the ring of all of them. And she's not bad in the ring. She's gotten better. But of all the ones I could think of, she's probably the least best in the ring.
I think them putting the title on her was kind of like a knee-jerk reaction because I think originally they were going to move Raquel up to the main roster, but things changed. So, there's in the situation they are. I think there's a lot more better women that's suited for that title, though.
She's not believable.
You can't. They can't. Her and Sonya came up the same way the Miz did, but the difference is that Sonya's
more believable
because her charisma. Mandy is just it's the appeal that a lot of people have. It's the old school thought of the whole
package looking
kind
good
of thing, and it doesn't nowadays. Way society is, it doesn't work as well.
In the Attitude Era, it would have worked. In the Attitude Era, it would work now. But Trish has actually broke that mold. Like Trish is one of the first to break that mold because she was all about that too, and then she got really good in the ring. I think Mandy got really good in the ring, but the problem with the difference is Mandy. We've seen her on the main roster since 2017, so it's been about 4 or 5 years. Like
she was in NXT for a short period of time, though.
Yeah, but we barely saw her in NXT, right? She was like, and she lost, and then she got to the main roster. They rushed her to the main roster, and she was basically like, I wouldn't say she's jobber, but she was like maybe mid card, lower card at best in the women's division. It's how we perceive her, right? Because look, it's how we perceive her.
Like, we're not hating on her or anything. We're just saying, like, we're looking at it as just, we're looking at how WWE is giving the presentation of her character. I think realistically, eventually they'll take the belt off her and make her go back to the main roster, and they'll bring, the rest of her faction with her. I am at the point where I think they need to give somebody who could actually hold that title long term, and there's multiple options for that. And I think Dakota's well overdue.
Dakota, Kaylee Ray, again, I don't know who else.
Yeah. Well, also Elimination Chamber is coming up. We've got Vengeance Day. The way the shows are setting up, which one are you more excited for?
Elimination Chamber.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
I mean, because look, it has a lot of nostalgic feeling to it. Goldberg and Lita. A lot of people don't like Goldberg, but you know what? Goldberg is like, I'm fine with Goldberg. I don't hate Goldberg. I'm not one of those people. Like I agree with people that he shouldn't be in high impact matches, like for titles and stuff. He's not exactly the best, but if you put him in a 5-minute match, he's fine. He's fine. He's not a limited match. But that's not the match I'm looking forward to. The one match I'm looking forward to, actually, the 2 matches I'm looking forward to are both Elimination Chamber matches, especially the men's one. You could look at that card: Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins. I think Styles and The Miz. Those are all good workers in the ring. All good.
I think for me, it's Vengeance Day. And just hear me out on that. You have the finals of the Dusty Cup, which that Creed Brothers and MSK are going to be a banger. That has potential as a tag team match to be one of the matches of the year for WWE. And that says a lot. There's no hype to it, no build up. They met in they're meeting in a tournament. So, I mean, that's great. But I really do believe that has got a great setup. You have the women's tag matches. You got Indy Hartwell and her partner, and then you have Toxic Attraction.
I love Persia Beretta. I think she's the next breakout star of NXT because she could wrestle. She's tall, strong, and like I said, she could wrestle. She could talk to. I think she's a full package.
I mean, I think Toxic Attraction. I think Toxic Attraction is going to come out of that with those belts, but I think it's going to end up
I'll tell you, Gigi Dolan.
Ray waiting
Gigi Dolan's the breakout star of that group.
I think that with the Carmelo Cameron Grimes match happens, I think Carmelo loses the title. He hasn't had a defense on that yet, right?
The Logic Strong belt unification.
Yeah. So I think Grimes wins this, and I think Carmelo has to deal with the fallout of him not having that title, and I think they run it back at Stand and Deliver. Like the card is really good. It's like literally a takeover on free television kind of thing.
Pretty much.
And it's an amazing whole thing. Those three matches for me are going to be great. Santos Escobar versus Breaker. I think this is where Ziggler puts his nose where it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
And if they do it right, they can have Ziggler and Ciampa in that match somehow. People were screaming 4-way the whole time.
I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen.
Yeah, but Escobar is going to say it's not his fault, not fair for him.
I know.
Which is,
he's a heel.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, I think Vengeance Day next week is for me what more exciting. Other than that, I mean, we've got a good week coming up. We haven't even touched Keith Lee. Oh my God, AEW! Holy crap!
We have a few minutes, don't we?
They pulled a rabbit out of their hats again. You have
two surprises.
Jay White from New Japan showing up, and then you have Keith Lee, which a lot of people are saying was going to happen. But oh my God, I even said it earlier on the Fightful gaming side on there, and like before we went on, is I wouldn't be surprised if they bring Mia Yim with him. That would make sense.
She's on Twitch right now, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Mia Yim does go to AEW.
Well, I mean, the matches that she could have with Statlander, with Britt, you could have her go against Ruby in a feud and stuff like that. It would make perfect sense. And the other thing, we'll wrap it up with this question, and it's going to be a long one. Out of all the surprises for at the Rumble, I know we're bouncing around and stuff like that. Who do you think is going to be at Mania?
I'm
talking about the women's, yeah.
I don't think she's in the Rumble, but maybe Beth Phoenix.
I wouldn't be shocked. Bayley comes back and faces Beth. They were
Bayley
trying to hint that.
Bayley or Asuka.
Melina said that she wants to see Sasha again, if that could be possible. That's an idea. I would be perfectly fine with this. I would love to see Sarah Logan back with Liv going for tag titles at least once for one run.
Just don't bring back Kelly.
The other thing on the men's side is that Bad Bunny's going to go again and face somebody at Mania. Who do you think he's facing?
Really? I really hope he doesn't face anybody because. Okay, look. Bad Bunny is good in the ring. I mean, he's okay in the ring. He's manageable. He's passable. He really tries. He's one of those celebrities that is prideful and takes effort into wrestling. Okay, I'll give him that. He takes it seriously. But in the Rumble, the way they use him in the Rumble was the Final Four, and then he did like the certain moves to certain wrestlers, like Canadian Destroyer. Was it Canadian Destroyer or a different move to?
They call it the Bunny Destroyer. The Bunny Hop.
The Bunny Destroyer, yeah. I think he was a Final Four. I mean, he should never been in there with Brock Lesnar. And when Brock Lesnar came in.
You see him cowering in the corner?
Yeah. Maybe he'll face the Miz again one-on-one. I think
if they were smart, if they do book him for Mania, I think that their best bet is to have him go against Priest.
or maybe Priest turn heel, stuff like that. You can build something off of that. I just think
There's
it's
so many
stupid.
things they could do.
I think it's stupid celebrities that manage to do all those moves in the match. It makes a wrestler look bad. It makes a wrestler look really, really bad.
Well, I mean, it all depends on how you do it, though. So, but we'll wrap it up about 5 minutes early or so. So, Aaron, tell them where they can find you.
So you can find me on my channel, YouTube channel, Aaron or AWO. I do wrestling stuff. I do pop culture stuff, like movies, TV shows, video games, stuff like that, And you can find my Twitter account, Aaron J's fan on Twitter. Yeah, thank you.
So we're gonna end up meeting some friends of ours from Love Wrestling right now. Go support them. They're really good people. Pluggo Astros is on, and the man himself, the mayor of Massachusetts Wrestling, JPJ. It was literally just hanging out there. Go check them out and stuff. Also, Tuesday nights, bodyslam.net's YouTube page. Go check us out. Usually it's me, and what last few days has been Bad Blood, and Parrish has popped in and stuff like that. For Chris Parrish. Hopefully we could get Aaron to come on soon. So
maybe I'll join you
have
Tuesday
some fun.
for NXT for Yeah.
Yeah, why not? It'll be fun. It's just we got to have a lot more fun, a lot more people on it. It's going to be interesting. Also, check out bodyslam.net. Go donate, have one of those slam chats, and help support the site. Also, come here every Thursday night, youtube.com/throwback27. Spread the word. Any word of mouth is worth every inch of gold in it. Also, we are 2 away from hitting 50 for Twitch, so why not just sneak over there? Come on now, you want to do that and go hit that sub button and help us out. I mean, every little bit helps. Go check out right there if you need to find me on Twitter. Also, we have a Facebook page for Wicked Crazy Pinfalls. Also, we have a Facebook paid group, which is the same. The Facebook page is Wicked Pinfalls, so that if you want to find that on Facebook. Other than that, any final thoughts?
Yeah, so final thoughts. I'm actually excited for Elimination Chamber. I like the matches on the card. AEW was great yesterday with Lee and Jay Wright. I did not expect Jay Wright. I mean, I did kind of expect him to be in AEW at some point, but I did not expect him in that way. Yes, it's a great way to be excited. We got Revolution next month too, guys. So be excited.
Got a lot of stuff to cover in a short span of time.
Yeah.
Got big plans for you guys next week. Hopefully it all pulls through. It's very, very hopefully we get a very special guest that have been trying to help out on that stuff. Hey, we got a bot kicking in. Put in timeout.
Bye, boss.
Other than that, hope everybody is safe, healthy, happy. Finally got to my response of one of those dorks.
True.
Oh wow! And the other thing I'm saying is that there's going to be some videos coming on the channel soon. We're going to pop some different things. One of them will be talking about cars, since I work in the car industry. One will be a bunch of other stuff. We'll be getting some gaming content on here eventually. So
awesome.
You gotta keep tuned and hit that like, comment, and subscribe, and do your thing. We got all these great guys on the crew, so support them too. But do a good deed, pay it forward, have fun. Life's too short. Stay positive and just enjoy it. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Later, guys.